Welcome to SkillUp Academy. Today, for today's training session, we have an outside expert, Michael Tranmer. He's an expert at coaching. So 2 years ago, something happened in his life where he had to change his life around, and he started coaching. And then 2 years after, he's now become so good that he decided that now's the time to teach coaches how to become coaches. So today, he's going to show you 5 mistakes that new coaches make. So I'm really excited for this because I've tried coaching and it didn't go as well as I hoped it would. So I'm hoping to learn from Michael. So, Michael?
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Danny. We'll see how many of the 5 mistakes that you made that I go through here.
Yeah.
And if it was all 5, I guess that's a good thing. At least you're aware of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. No, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for this opportunity. Happy to be here. Happy to share with your guys and your community and everyone that's looking to gain new skills. If you don't remember anything else from this presentation at all, just know that it is possible if you are interested, like Danny did and like I have done, in getting into coaching and doing it as a part-time gig or doing it as a full-time gig, which I am doing now as a full-time thing. It is possible. So just know that. Don't worry about anything else. Just know there is a way, and if you're committed to it and you want to do that, just know it is possible. And the steps that I'm going to go through here, the things that I'm going to bring up, I hope my goal with this is, if you are looking to proceed as a coach in any form of coaching as it can be, my goal is, by sharing these 5 things with you, that it will save you time. It will save you headaches that I made, and the people that I work with, I try to help them avoid, but they often make the same mistakes as well. But yeah, my goal, just know that it's possible. And my goal here is just to save you some time.
Amazing. I'm excited. Let's do this.
All right, let's just get into it. I'm going to pull up the presentation and let's do it. So here we go. This is cool. I like this. It's fancy. This is real. I like this. And I can even see you too, Danny. That's good. So yeah, five mistakes that new coaches make. That's my name. My name's Michael Tranmer. We don't really write our names normal anymore. All our names have to have an at the front of it, right? A lot of people that I roll with, we live in Instagram world. So that's where you can find me. I post mainly daily. I help you think on Instagram. It's a great place to be. If there's no other accounts you follow me. It's good stuff. All right, here we go. And so I've been here though. I've been, perhaps, Danny, this might have been you at a certain point of your coaching journey, but I've been there. I've been there in the beginning. I've been there when it's hard to get going, and I'll give you a little back. I love this picture. Even though it's a little painful for me to see this. It's about 6 years ago now. Danny, who are you a fan of?
Who am I a fan of? Hockey-wise. Oh man, I feel bad. I'm not a big hockey guy.
That's fine. Well, it's probably not the Toronto Maple Leafs. So that's I'm a Maple Leaf guy. It hurts. But this picture is about 6 years ago. It was Game 7. It was May 6 years ago, 2013. Game 7, Toronto Maple Leafs playing Boston Bruins. The Leafs were up 4-1 in Game 7 in the 3rd period with 16 minutes left.
Don't tell me they lost.
Oh, they lost. Oh, they lost. They lost in overtime.
Wow.
And this was the moment after I knew once Boston had tied it up going towards the end of the game that it was not going to work out. But this picture was right after Boston scored early into overtime to end the program. It's not even plugged in. It is what it is. But these are the similar feelings and emotions that often happen for new coaches when they're starting out. You know, they're really passionate. They want to help people. They have their own way that they want to get out there, but they don't have any clients, right? Or they're really motivated to leave their 9-to-5 job But of course, they can't do that if they don't have a stream of clients coming in. And so they feel really stuck and their confidence is ground zero. And I just like to start out with this just to make the point that, I have been there as well. And for any new coaches that are looking to get started, I feel it. I feel it. But there's a way out. Moving on here. And when you're in this low point of your coaching world, it's really important to be clear on why you're doing this, why this is important, why you're getting into coaching, why you're trying to leave your 9-to-5 job. And often it's because you recognize maybe you've been through something, maybe you're really passionate about sharing an experience or skills that you have in SkillUp Academy. There's lots of this going on. And you can't continue down your current path, be that in the corporate world or whatever it may be. And you recognize that your best success, your best fulfillment in life is going to be matched and paired with making this coaching thing work. And you also recognize that, like I mentioned, you perhaps have been through something, you're really passionate about sharing a skill or whatever you may want to teach. And you got something good. You have a transformative service or a product that you want to help get out there. And so it's really important to circle back to this why. Why are you doing this? Why are you taking on this entrepreneurial journey to become a coach? Because this is the motivation that's going to pull you up off of that carpet, off of that floor. And just a little bit more about me. My name's Michael Tranmer. I'm out here in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. So lucky and fortunate to be here. Grew up in Ontario, but I've now been in BC almost as long as I ever spent in Ontario. So very fortunate to do that. I help coaches, entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals really get to the next level of success in their lives and in their business. I really help ambitious, a lot of type A people that are really successful and high performers, but I help them go higher. And it's super fun. And within that, I also help new coaches launch their whole new world, launch their whole new business, because that's what I have done as well over the last about year and a half or so. So we'll get into that as well. And within my coaching, I do one-on-one work, and I also get my people together in a mastermind group setting where we can all learn and feed off of each other, and we're really working as the collective brain to help each other level up and get to new levels. My background, I got 12 years in engineering before I got into this. And within that world, it was such a great experience because I'm project managing multidiscipline professionals on a wide array of projects with $1 million budgets and multi-million-dollar construction budgets. And I'm really essentially coaching and organizing and keeping everyone in line throughout that whole career. And so it was such a great big stepping stone and learning for me to get to where I am now. And then this summer, I just wanted to mention my book. I got a book coming out, and I hope all of you buy 17 copies each. It'd be really great. Appreciate it. It's called Satori Ananda. It means Awaken to Happiness. And it's really about my transformation story, which I'll tell you about right now, about how, I like to set up this coaching talk because it really flows into how I got into coaching. And like I mentioned, I was living a pretty great life out here in Vancouver, had the engineering job, got a wonderful condo, and I was married 6 years. We were together for 12 years. And, things on the surface seemed pretty great, good relationship, good job. They weren't that great. Engineering was never my jam. I never loved it, right? But I never knew how to get out of it. And then same with the relationship. It was good. It was really good. So fortunate to have it, but it wasn't great. And so it came to a very fast end about 1.5 years ago. And that was really, really hard. It was hard for her. It was hard for me. And for a guy with a big heart, it really, really hurt. And that was really my rock bottom. It was 100% my rock bottom. And at that time, I recognized that I had to get out of my rock bottom. Number one, I was not going to let something external ruin my life. But I really had, and I didn't want it, but I really had a blank slate to create whatever I wanted next. I could do whatever I wanted. I could go wherever I wanted. I could work wherever I wanted. I didn't want this blank slate, but I had it. And at the same time, I was having all this clarity and realizations, and within that, I had this clarity on parts of my old personality and my old life in engineering, and also my personality that I did not want to take with me where I was going next. And that realization was good, but it was also very hard to have that awareness about myself. But to dig out of my rock bottom, it really started with the commitment to do whatever it took. I didn't know what it was, whatever it took to be happy again, straight up, because I was crushed. But that's what I did. I started learning. I started listening to all the podcasts. I started getting advice from people. I started going to a counselor, and I started, really listening and taking in as much information as I could, but also really spending a lot of time alone and getting quiet and sitting with it. And so what happened was, it was incredible. I was having a lot of breakthroughs. I was having a lot of clarity. I was having a lot of realizations. And so I was getting clear on my past, but also, really at the same time crafting on what I wanted to do going forward. And, while I was having all these breakthroughs and realizations and going up and down like this and that, I'm reading a comment at the same time, totally threw me off. While I was having these breakthroughs going up and down at the same time, I was having problems sustaining it. I was really at moments hitting real moments of bliss when I was having these breakthroughs, but I was going up and down, just like this, you see the video? That's about when I got this tattoo. So that's my wave, really represents that important time in my life with the highs and the lows, the peaks and the troughs of life. But what I really wanted to do, I wanted to pin it on high, right? I wanted to stay stoked the whole time. So that's when I recognized I needed help to get to the next level. So that's when I reached out and hired a coach of my own. And I'm so grateful that she came into my life when she did, and it was so transformative for me even more after that, to help me get sort of from here to up here, and also get clarity on what I wanted to do in the next part of my life, what goals I had, really building up my confidence, really getting over the victim of the separation, and everything really came together very quickly. And it again was sort of another step in this transformation that I was going on. And within that, I recognized this whole other industry, if you will. I was always doing the coaching within the engineering world and being a project manager, but now I saw how impactful it could be on a one-on-one scale, working with individuals just like she was working with me. And I knew I had this in me, and I already started doing and sharing everything that I was learning with those around me. So fast forward about a year ago now, I've gotten to the end of this first bit of working with my coach. I was very fortunate to take some time off work, about 2.5 months traveling through Central America. I call it my wellness journey, and it was such a beautiful time. And that's when I wrote this book that I mentioned, Satori Ananda, Awaken to Happiness, because that's really what it was. It was such a beautiful time, and I really needed to go through and share all that I have learned to dig myself out of this rock bottom. So I'm traveling through Central America. I'm writing my book on beaches. It was so incredible, and I'm working with my coach. And at the same time, I'm starting up my same coaching practice as well. I'm getting clear on who I want to work with, and it was such a great time, and so fortunate to have that. And then once I got back into Vancouver in August, it was on. I was fully committed. I was like, I have to do this. I have to start my practice. I have to start helping people and really transforming their lives at the same time. But that's when you get back to that picture that I started with, right? That's where I started. I'll go back to it here. This was really me in August, which is only about 9 months ago from this time right now. That's where it started. And so these five mistakes that I'm about to go through, I made them all. But like I said, my goal and my intent is to help you guys not make them. So that's really the story, my story about how I got into coaching and why I'm so passionate about it, because I've lived it. I've seen how empowering and how impactful it can be to have that relationship with someone who is really helping you to elevate your game to the next level. So here we go. I'm going to save you guys, anyone out there who is interested in getting into coaching, you know, whether it's business coaching or life coaching or health coaching or holistic coaching, or there's so many different kinds, and I don't even really like to call it coaching because that really pigeonholes it into a certain area. So call it what you will. You're helping other people out in a new way, and there's just so many different avenues that people can teach others these days. And that's what's so great about Danny, what you're doing with the SkillUp Academy, and I just love it. But these are common mistakes that I've seen people make and that I've made. So number one, they wait. They wait. They wait. They wait to do, so let's say someone's interested in getting into coaching, starting their own business, maybe a little side hustle on the side. But they wait to do another seminar. They wait to do another course. They wait to do another certification. Or they think they have to wait until they have thousands of dollars worth of a website going, or they got the perfect Instagram with the quotes and the things all over the place and the just perfect profile. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. You cannot keep waiting. You will never be 100% ready. You're never going to be 100% ready. So what you need to do is, you don't know what you need to improve on until you start. So you absolutely just have to start. Just start. And this can go with any entrepreneurial journey as well. You just have to start, because then you know what you need to improve on. And another mistake that new coaches often make once they get into it, they wait for people to come to them. But that doesn't work either. You need, and this can be tricky for, and like myself, you know, someone who came from a corporate background where, you know, you go to work, you do your thing, and you come home. In the entrepreneurial world, it's a different ball game, right? You need to put yourself out there, and you also cannot wait for people to come to you. You have to not be aggressive, but you have to really poke and continually get your message out there and get your offering out there. The last thing you can do is just assume that even if you make this nice website, that people are just going to come to you. Or if you have this nice Instagram profile, people are just going to flood into your inbox. It won't happen. You have to go to them. You have to build a relationship. And we'll get into that in a second as well. So number one, don't wait. Absolutely just start and get out there. Number two, they compare. And I catch myself doing this all the time too. They compare, and you know, they compare to other coaches that have been doing it for decades or years or a lot longer. They compare to their friends that may have started at a similar time and or might be further ahead or perceived to be further ahead. Or they compare to strangers that they follow that they don't even like, but they compare to them, right? And they get all up in, new coaches get all up in their heads with all this comparison. And all it is you are just simply wasting your energy. And instead, I always tell my clients that I'm helping start their practices that you need to refocus this energy and really turn it into action. Turn it into the things that you need to do. Turn it into the to-do list that you have. Turn it into, you know, ticking those things off your box and creating your business. As soon as you catch yourself comparing yourself, and you know where that rabbit hole goes, you can waste hours doing that, and then by the end you just feel, you're like, oh, there's no way I'm ever going to catch up to these people. You have to stop yourself. You have to just stop yourself immediately. Refocus on you and your path and getting clarity on that, and turn that into action. Do the work that you need to do. So that's number two. Number three. This is a good one. Overwhelmed with tech, just like me and Danny at the start of this. But we got through it, didn't we, brother? Didn't we, brother? Overwhelmed with tech, with the technology. So, you know, like I mentioned, you know, people that are coming from a certain job, maybe they want to move out of it and start their own thing, and they just get so overwhelmed with that. You know, often these people, maybe they don't have a technology background. Maybe they're not good with all the devices that we use. So once they see all these flashy websites and people talking about building funnels and Instagram accounts and you know, doing Instagram lives and stories and videos and then all these other apps that people feed in to make those look all good. And then they start thinking about the courses that they have to make. And then they're like, oh, I have no idea how to make a course. And they just get so overwhelmed by these things, by these tech steps that eventually they can take and use in their business. But you just have to, again, catch yourself. As soon as you start getting too overwhelmed, you need to take a breath and just focus on one thing at a time. Focus on what makes most sense to help you start and propel your business. You know, if you're trying to master Instagram, focus on that at first and then move on to creating your website. And after you get that down, you know, that'll take some time, then move on to building your course. So just be aware. Everything starts with awareness, right? Be aware when you start to get all up in your head and you start to get overwhelmed, and then just refocus one thing at a time and then add on to that, add on what's next when you're ready. It's a big one. It's a big one. It's a big one. This is a huge one for coaches. When mistakes that they make when they first get going, that they lack confidence, right? Because they're struggling to get the clients, they're struggling to get their message out there. And so every day their confidence kind of sinks a little bit. But the number one way that you're going to build confidence as a coach is to do more coaching. And you're like, Michael, what the heck? How can I do that if I don't have any people? How can I do that? How can I do that? You just coach everyone. Coach the people you go out for lunch with. Coach your friends. Coach the guy in the change room when he's struggling to get motivated and figure out a problem for himself. You just have to start coaching everyone. And, you know, it's going to start, you're going to start, you know, your first client's going to be probably a friend of yours, and it's probably going to be for free. But that's going to build up, and eventually you're going to get another friend, and you're going to start charging them, and then you're going to get a stranger, and you're going to charge them even more. But you just have to, especially when you're in the beginning, you have to coach people daily if you can for a couple hours. And then the reason you want to do this is that you will start to see the results and the change in these people's lives, and you'll see what you're good at and how you are helping them, and that will build your confidence. But you cannot sit back and wait for this confidence just to come to you. You have to get out there and coach as much as possible. And the more you practice, and again, the more you see results from your people, your confidence will go right up. Number 5, last one. I hope these have been very useful. And again, my intent with this is to save you time. If you guys are getting started on your own coaching journeys, I absolutely have made all of these mistakes. Some of them pop up even still from time to time. So it all starts with awareness, but I just want to save you guys time so you can get doing more of what you want to be doing. The last one here is your content doesn't convert. So the people that I help create their businesses, it's all online. You know, I work with people all over North America, Mexico included. Canada, US, Mexico. So it's all online. So attracting your ideal customers, it's all done over the internet, and I do most of my work over Instagram. And so the content is very, very, very important. Very important, because you want to attract your ideal client. Now, to do that, you have to get your ideal client to know you, to like you, and to trust you. It's what it all comes back to. It's what it all comes back to. And the other thing to be very, very aware of is that people buy from people. People buy from people. So when you're creating your content and you have these nice quotes or even a picture with a quote on it. Nobody's going to buy from that because they like your quote, that you make them feel good, but they aren't getting to know you on a personal level. The only way to do that, and this makes all my new clients cringe, but they get used to it eventually, and it's very empowering when people start doing this. But the only way to do that, to really get people to know you, like you, and trust you, is to do what we're doing here, is to do video. And we can do this. This is what is so incredible about the times that we live in. We have the power, these things in our hand, to do video and project it live all over the world. It's absolutely incredible what we can do now. And when we use these tools, when we use them for good, there's so much empowerment that we can give to ourselves and to other people. And so it's very important that your content that you put out on Instagram or Facebook, wherever it is, you do need to include some video, and then you do need to start doing live video, because it's a really beautiful way for your potential clients, your avatar, to really connect with you and know you, like you, and trust you. And it's all about building up a relationship. It's about building up content that works. I go through a whole strategy for how you break down a caption in your post, so it really leads people into working with you or contacting with you. Or you need to have that call to action at the bottom. You need to take them through a story. You need to give them the solution. There's a whole methodology and strategies to do all of this. But getting back to the video, it's literally the best way, and it's always rough and a little uncomfortable in the beginning, but it gets easier, just like everything else. I just wanted to bring this up. This is a client of mine, Cindy. She is incredible. I just wanted to bring it up as a perfect example of someone who has done all of these mistakes but overcome them. And in the process, I really, group of the people that I work with, I help them develop their own business, their new business as coaches. But within that, I'm sneaking in a lot of personal development. Because when you start doing these things, when you start getting your own clients, when you start getting over the fear of doing videos, when you empower yourself and create your own business, it feels really good. And so, as you can see from her quote, every element of my life in the last 4 or 5 months has altered. Every element has come together. It's exactly where I'm going and how much further I'm going. And so by creating this business, this coaching business for yourself, all these other parts of your life really start to come together as well, because you're really leveling up not only in your business but in other parts of your life as well. So it's really, I feel so fortunate to get testimonials like this back and help her do the same. Now, I mean, her background, she's combining Reiki with one-on-one coaching, and now she's having seminars and doing retreats. And so it's just so great to see her doing the work that she loves to do and transitioning out of her corporate world at the same time. Just getting down to the end here. I know I mentioned a lot about Instagram on here, and I'm not Mr. Instagram, but I've had to spend a lot of time on it over the last year. A year ago, my account was at 1,000 followers. You saw the slide at the beginning. I'm over 13,000. So that's a lot of growth over the last year, because I've had to do it. It's a very important part of how I attract my ideal clients, and I get most of my clients through Instagram. So it's a very important thing to do. And since I've mentioned it a bunch throughout this presentation, I'd love to offer you guys here that are part of SkillUp and watching this live. And again, thanks, Danny, to you for allowing me to be part of this. If you're interested in a free Instagram audit, I'll take a quick look at your account, see what your messaging is like. If you're looking to grow your account, or if you're already selling products or services through your account, I can take a quick look at it and give you a couple pointers that will hopefully help you out. But yeah, just message me at michael.tranmer. Say that you saw me on SkillUp Academy. I'll take a quick look, and hopefully I can add some value to your account and help you either grow for your personal reasons or grow for your business. Awesome, that's it. That's it. And that's where you can find more about me at websites, michaeltranmer.com. Or yeah, I'm always spending perhaps a little bit too much time on on Instagram, but that's where you can find me.
All right. Thanks for that. That was, I recognize myself in pretty much all the points, like you said, and even before that, because I did 12 years of engineering as well as a software engineer, and I kind of like accidentally grew into writing. That was just a skill I wanted to learn. And it turns out that I actually had more talent in writing than I thought I would ever have. So here I am today doing SkillUp and a bunch of different things. So when people are stuck doing the same thing and they don't realize they have other potential, it's not true. Everyone has more potential than you think they have. So it was an incredible message that you gave everyone, and your story to back it up. I think it was great.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And that's what it was for me. You know, I was really good at engineering, you know, making six figs, running multi-million-dollar projects, really good, but it was never my jam. And I knew I was never going to be the best engineer. I knew I didn't love it enough to be the best, right? You had that similar feeling, but I didn't know, I didn't know exactly how to get out of it. So that's why I'm just so fortunate for hitting my rock bottom, because it burst out this thing out the other side. And I mean, that's something that I really work on with people that are in the same place. And ideally you don't have to hit rock bottom to make that change. So by me sharing my story and my message, I just hope and inspire that people can see that there is a different way to go if perhaps you're not going down the right path.
Yeah. I was looking at all 5 of them, and so I just realized very recently about the point number 5, where people buy from people. And so combining number 1 with number 5, in my case, I wanted to do public speaking, and I'm able to do that in front of crowds, and because I can feel their energy and things. Right now I only see like that dot in the top of my camera, and it's really hard for me to focus on that. So I wanted to improve that, be better at public speaking through camera. And at the same time, I realized, you know what? I've got this SkillUp Academy. I could be doing training videos that could be helpful for a lot of people. So I combine the two, and now people actually see the person behind who's writing all these articles in skill development. And I don't care for people buying necessarily my things, but I hope that by seeing me, they see that, this guy knows what he's talking about, and I'm going to trust him even more. So I think
and the fact that they can see you're just a dude, right? You're just a human, and
exactly.
We're all equal, right? And by them seeing you, the guy behind all these amazing, popular, incredibly successful writing that you've been doing, they can see you and go, oh, he's an amazing guy, but he's just a guy, so I could do it too. Exactly. I'm just a guy. I'm a guy. You're a guy.
Exactly. And it took me so much. Like you talked about confidence, and I think it was number 4, and it's so true. Like so many people don't jump into it, and like they need that confidence. And I'm definitely not confident going live right now. And like my way of doing that is I listen to some epic music really loud, and I just do some push-ups before joining live, and feels like I'm comfortable. Yeah. And while it happens, I am comfortable, but no one's comfortable before it happens. So until you actually do it, you're not going to be comfortable.
And that's the best part. Like that's where the growth comes from, by doing these uncomfortable things. Yeah. And that's that same thing, getting back to the engineering world, by doing the same-ish thing every day for 12 years. I need to be uncomfortable. Now, if I've gone 3 or 4 days without being uncomfortable, I get uncomfortable. Right. So now I'm seeking out being uncomfortable, because that's where the growth comes. And as soon as you start getting comfortable with doing this and that, then you're like, I can do anything.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened with the 3 skills a month thing. I always set myself at the beginning of the month for failure. I'm not going to succeed. I'm new at doing that. I played ukulele. I dance salsa. I'm a metalhead. Like, this makes no sense for me to do that. And the confidence I got from just doing it and being consistent was so phenomenal. I would never be doing that today if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, well, you just start to become so aware of the capacity of our brains and what we are capable of, because we're only using all tiny little part of our brains for the most part. But then when you start having these new experiences and learning these new things, different neural connections start forming, different pathways start linking together, and you start to realize what's possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And like on point number 2 about comparing, I'm typically pretty good at that in my writing. I don't really compare myself with other people, but there's one skill where I'm really bad. I always compare myself with others is photography.
Mm.
My confidence in photography is so low because I compare myself with the like of Steve McCurry and like super incredible people. But the reality is people need people that are not Steve McCurry. I have something to give them. And I managed to still do it. But every time I compare myself, I'm like, my photos are not good enough. And it still doesn't justify. I should still be doing it. And I still do it, but it's hard.
Awesome. Yeah, that's just it. I love your point about people need your photography. People need what you see. They need, and I was having a call with a client yesterday, and she was like, why would people want to work with me? And people are already, there's people out there doing what I want to be doing. And so I ask her a few questions, and she starts, and I get her to retell her story and how she overcame it, and where she was and what she learned, and then how she got out to where she was.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, I'm like, you are the only one who have done that journey. You're the only one who knows what it feels like to be at those different points of that journey. And I can guarantee you, in a world of 7.5 billion people, that there's somebody else out there, probably hundreds of thousands of people, that need to hear from you at those points of their journey so you can help them.
Yeah, absolutely. And on point number 1, I'm going backwards here from 5 to 1. So on the waiting part, for me, when I started SkillUp and the training sessions, the way I actually did that, and a lot of times the things that I do, because I write, I keep myself accountable. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start doing training sessions, and that's going to start in 2 weeks. I was like, oh shit, I did tell people. Now I have to follow through, because people see me, people read me, and people know that shit, this guy has, like, he has to do it now that he mentioned it. And that's a great way to start anything. Just like make it public. Make it public. Now you have to do it.
Yes. I before I got on here, I do this all the time now on my Instagram live stories. I'm trying to stop drinking coffee right now, and as soon as I mention it to my following, like, whether or not they care or not, I have to hold myself accountable to them. And if I say I'm gonna go jump in the cold ocean today, if I say that, because I live in integrity, right? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So yeah, I do these things all the time too, where I build in this accountability as well.
Yeah. So your book is the same thing. You're working on this one. So now that you've announced it, and probably in many different places, you have to do it. And I wrote 4 books, and the only reasons they were written is because I said, okay, I'm writing a new book. And people started asking, what is it about? Oh shit, I haven't thought about that enough. Okay, I'm going to write it. I'm going to find a good topic and I'm going to write it.
I love that. And that's that. I mean, it's all about accountability, right? And that's why the whole coaching relationship it's one of the best parts about it. Having that person that you speak with every week or every 2 weeks, whatever it may be, that you feel you need to do the homework that you did during the last call. That someone's going to be asking you about those exact things. And to build on that accountability, and also, with coaching, it's also this other perspective, and that often we get in our own heads and we live our own lives. But to have this fresh other perspective, looking at your life, it's just so valuable. So that's why when we started all this at the beginning, I'm like, more coaches, the better, for sure.
Yeah, and like the best way to learn anything So if anyone wants to learn anything, the best way to do it is through teaching others. So going into coaching business is absolutely important. I was watching Tony Robbins, I think it was last week. He was announcing the KBB something.
Yeah, that was wild.
It was interesting. And he was mentioning how in 2025, that's going to be I don't remember, $100 billion industry or something. People learn so much from other people one-on-one, but the people that teach learn even more. So
yeah, I say that all the time when I go to a seminar for the weekend. I try to make a point of doing an Instagram live on the Tuesday night. I've done this a couple times to just teach back all that I've learned, and then by doing that, that information is getting ingrained in my head. It's a great way to do it.
Yeah, I have a friend that does 4minutebooks.com. Wow. And so basically he reads books and he makes 4-minute summaries of them for other people. But really, he's actually learning more than the people reading, because he has to summarize it in a way that is so clear in only 4 minutes. And coaching is kind of the same.
Yeah. I mean, that's why content's a big part of being an online coach. But I really love that, all that I post and do on Instagram, because it's just that. I'm continuing to learn new things, but I also need to understand them and communicate the messages in a way that people understand. But that helps me understand.
Yeah. So you do a lot of Instagram. I actually found you on LinkedIn. What's the difference for coach? Instagram, LinkedIn, which one's better? I guess you're going to say Instagram since you're on it, but
yeah, it really depends on who your target market is. And LinkedIn is, eventually I may spend some more time there, but LinkedIn is more for the professionals, more for the corporate world, whereas Instagram, I find it's more for the entrepreneurs, more the health and wellness. And I really started there because that's where a lot of the eyeballs are these days. I would say most of the eyeballs are these days, and that's a platform that I like, and I use it because I use it because it's the one that I am preferred to use. And just with the video and all the different applications that you can use within it, it's very powerful tool to use, but people also have to be cautious of getting used by it, right? And we see a lot of that, people just scrolling their life away. So you create the content, don't get consumed by it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like your approach in both, where when I met you on LinkedIn, you were wearing a suit, and I was like, oh, this guy's pretty formal. And then I saw you on Instagram and you were shirtless.
Yeah, so I don't wear a lot of shirts on Instagram. I'm usually on the beach, so it's not usually shirt season. But it's they both play their part. Same with Facebook, and again, it can start to get overwhelming, right? When you think you need to be in all these places. But I mean, for me, like, I have a presence in all of them. I focus one over here, but you can see, and eventually I'll build up a team, and then they can build up the LinkedIn for me, because it's, I'm creating a life where I'm going to do the coaching, I'm going to do the work, but I'm also creating this life. And that's the thing with this entrepreneurial journey. You can create the life that you want to spend the time doing the things that you want. And I don't want to be on LinkedIn 24 hours a day.
Yeah. How'd you get to 13,000 followers? You said people are not going to come to you. And I'm intrigued as to how you got them. Did you run any ads, or it was, how did you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I tried it all, and we should, for sure, if people are interested, I can do a whole other talk on that, on how to grow your Instagram. But I literally, I've tried everything, and that includes like some paid shout outs and paid advertising, and being part of a giveaway, because honestly it's very hard to get that growth just organically.
Yeah.
And even within these paid options, it is still, and you have to do this with organic growth. It's always going to be so important to have very high quality content.
Mm-hmm.
And that's both the pictures and both the captions that you are writing. So even if you do advertising or ways to promote your account. It won't work unless you have good content. So good content, good consistent content, there, it always has to be there.
So when you say consistent, in your case, is that posting every day, posting how frequently? In writing, I write every day and publish about 3 articles a week. On Instagram, I'm assuming you probably have to do a bit more of that, right?
Yeah, it's daily. Daily is a good place to start, and again, that can be really hard for some people if creating content is not natural for them. So I mean, if it's hard, dial it back to every once every 2 days. But for sure, you cannot expect to have good results by doing a couple random posts per month. But yeah, I mean, daily is what I've been doing for the most part for the last year, and it works.
Cool. Videos or photos work better?
Mix of both.
Cool. Because the problem I have with Instagram is that for videos like this, they tend to run quite a bit longer than I think it's what, 1 minute that they give you?
Yeah, I mean, they've now got the longer version on Instagram TV where you can do up for an hour. And I would say for SkillUp Academy, it's you sort of build an audience with short clips of this, and then you take them wherever else you take them, into where this is being held, right? You don't actually give the training within Instagram, but you tease people and you build a buzz and you build your brand, and then you shoot them off somewhere else.
Cool. So you if someone like me creates longer videos, they can cut it to maybe the best 1 minute, and then link to the other place where it's the biggest.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, definitely guilty of coming back to the 5 thing. Definitely guilty of doing a lot of them, and not necessarily in the coaching side of it, but in the everything in my entrepreneur journey for sure. Out of the 7 businesses that I've started, I've had these problems for sure.
Yeah, and it's all the awareness to know that we're doing that and try to do it a little bit less the next day or the next time or for your next journey, right?
Yeah. All right. Anything else to add?
No, I'm good. I got to get running.
All right.
Thanks again for this opportunity, Danny, and your team, and hope this has been great value for your people. And yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah, let's do this. Great story, great content. I think it was amazing. So, guys, this was SkillUp Academy with Michael Tranmer. Let's put up the slide again to end with. Here it is. All right. So that was Michael Tranmer. So if you need to reach out, the @ is Instagram, right?
That's right. Yes.
All right. So Michael Tranmer on Instagram or his website. And if you need help with coaching or just your entrepreneurship journey, he's got tons of good ideas. Yeah,
the book should be out June or July. So really looking forward to getting that out to everyone.
Cool. When it's out, let me know. I'm going to put that in the description in the video.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. See you guys. See you, Michael.
All right. Have the best day.
See you.